So yeah, I try my best. I mean, from my side, there's always like an honest hard work that goes into every character for these fans. But you know, I go back to my first experience, my first fan experience, mob experience, which is during Footpath. I love going to single screen, play a lot of characters, grey shades, taporis, everything that any guy would do twisted. It's not like I chose those films at that point of time. They were more of the films choosing me, because there was this image that was being built. Hi, this is Emraan Hashmi and you're watching me on Bollywood Hungama.
Alright, we have with us Emraan Hashmi on huge popular demand. Baadshaho is doing excellently well. His role is getting a whopping response as well. Emraan, pleasure having you back on Bollywood Hungama first of all.
Thank you.
You're live on Facebook and Instagram on Bollywood Hungama. Any thoughts?
Big hi to all the fans there on a wonderful Monday morning. I should do this more often actually.
You should actually.
I don't do it enough. My social team keeps saying that you should do a Facebook live, but I will.
No, absolutely.
I will do it more often.
In fact, I posted something about the event that you were going to yesterday night.
Yesterday, yeah.
And the way people react is something else. So, what do you have to say to your fans first of all, who always stood by with you in thick and thin?
I mean, we actors are there because of our fans, and you know they've always been supporting me through these 14 years in the industry, and I got a very overwhelming response in my first film. I got noticed, and that fan base thankfully has increased ever since then.
Right.
There's always this nervousness also when I take up a role, because I feel that it has to live up to their expectations. I don't want to let them down with each film. So yeah, I try my best. I mean, from my side, there's always like an honest hard work that goes into every character for these fans, and they've really stood by me through thick and thin. So
right.
Yeah.
I believe you went to Gaiety Galaxy and you were mobbed. Now, what sort of feeling is it? Because when a few of the movies they don't work, and when you once again get that sort of response, because fans are still there. Fans will always be there. It is just that film has to come out, that role has to come out.
Yeah.
How's the feeling like?
Well, I go back to my first experience, my first fan experience, mob experience, which is during Footpath, and I penned this in the book also. I was standing in the stalls in Metro Cinema when Footpath had released, and I was trying to get noticed. People didn't notice me in the beginning because I had the kind of makeup in Footpath. No one would kind of tell it's the same person.
Right.
But then slowly in hushed tones, there was this, the thing that had this Raghu, the character Raghu. And then in the interval, half the theatre had come out outside Metro Cinema, and there was a traffic jam. That was my first experience. And I love going to single screens and seeing a response, because that is the audience. I mean, you have people throwing coins on a screen, you have them shouting and hooting. So that's where you get instant feedback. We multiplex people, we're like so subdued in our reaction. I mean, any person, any director or any actor, if they go into multiplex, they'll be like, "Acha, is this reaction? Are we getting a reaction for this film?" Because we're kind of muted with that. So I love going to single screens, and that's why I made it a point when Baadshaho released, which is kind of a slight tilt towards that kind of audience. It gives the audience that.
Right.
The single screen audience loves that, the mass audience. The dialogue bazi, the large action set pieces, and I wanted to go and see it in Gaiety.
सोना चुराना है वो भी आर्मी से, ना सोना मिलेगा ना सोने को, सोच लो.
So I saw I think I saw 10 scenes pre-interval.
Okay.
So it takes me back to the days that I used to go to Gaiety. I went for my first 10 films. I went for every film to watch it in Gaiety Galaxy, and that was the biggest learning. To understand, you've done things. How is it evoking a reaction in the audience? And have I missed this beat in the character, if there's like a comic beat or whatever, to see how the audience reacts. So that single screen is I think that's my learning.
Okay, and you have this unique dichotomy as well, that you are, I think, a very suave and polished guy, basically a multiplex guy. The sort of reading that you do, the sort of music that you listen to in your personal life is a total contrast to what we see you on screen. Baadshaho is doing excellently well in single screens. And it is like a rage in single screens, in fact. So What do you just attribute this schizophrenic life to?
Which
has been
it is schizophrenic.
Yeah, because you are a completely different person.
Yeah.
And people have this perception that Emraan Hashmi agar aayega, so that he's just going to just.
But that's an assumption, you know. That's, you know, the lines get blurred in cinema when you play a particular kind of characters. Predominantly those, you know, very mass characters. I've played a lot of characters, grey shades, taporis, everything that any guy would do twisted. I mean, I've rarely been clad in a suit in a film. So that polished character I've done only in probably 3 or 4 films. I've played the roguish characters in so many of my films, and people, I think that the lines get blurred because they expect, acha, his sensibility might be this. That is why he. But the thing is, when I started off, and it's not like I chose those films at that point of time. They were more of the films choosing me, because there was this image that was being built, and then I started getting offers of those that kind of cinema. So I started taking it up.
Right.
And then this perception kind of started getting created about me, about, you know, bold cinema, very massy films, which I was playing up to. I probably didn't see or consume those kind of films personally, but because it was working with the audience and I had a demand out there, I was just supplying for that demand. If I made a film for my family or for myself, I don't think, I mean, then masses would be very, very disappointed. They'd be very disappointed, because that my sensibility wouldn't kind of reflect that, wouldn't go with them.
Absolutely.
So I was doing things for them. It's eventually for the demand, right? Sometimes
No,
there are very few films that you end up doing for yourself, of the kind of films that you see, which actually are not made. Not too many films are made in Bollywood.
Right. No, absolutely, because, you know, from whatever we understand, from whatever experience that we've seen and observed, things within the industry, that, you know, when it is like when so many people are involved and when so much of money is involved, so obviously you cannot be thinking about yourself. You have to think from this perspective that it should be something that people will be interested in watching, and there is some sort of return from it in the first place as well.